One. First off, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Rakakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS, from whom I learned this truth from. And shalom to all the hopeful elect, ox and aquath out there who are taking this truth in and trying to bid the 1/3 elect into the marriage. This is another Sabbath lesson. I'm just gonna jump right into it. This is the fourth commandment, man. This is Exodus 20:8. Remember the Sabbath day and to keep it holy. This is the fourth commandment. Now, me personally, I've always looked at the 10 commandments and didn't really know what the Sabbath was. It's not really even taught in these churches. But under the tutelage of GMS, I'm starting to get a grasp of it. This is everything I learned so far. I want to say congratulations to the Ox and the Aquath. If you come across this video, that means you're seeking the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. You're trying to please Him by faith. And that brings me to another. Right, that brings me to another point. This is Ecclesiastes 12:13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. So I want to congratulate you on continually seeking Him, and Barakatah, and I love you for that. Verse 14, Ecclesiastes 12, verse 14. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So with knowing that, I congratulate you for trying to do His commandments to the best of your ability. And call Allah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua for even giving us His truth. This is Isaiah 58:13 through 14. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, and thou shalt honor Him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. This is the point. Then thou shalt then thou shalt delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. And one last precept before we go into when the Sabbath is and how to keep it. This is 1 John 5:3. For this is the love of God, that we keep His commandments, and His commandments are not grievous. For whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world, and this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith. So I just brought that up to say that this particular commandment is the only commandment that asks you also to not do something, but to also do something. It's not as simple as thou shalt not kill. You stop stealing from your brother. Thou shalt not kill. Don't threaten his life, or complete that threat. You know what I mean? Honor thy mother and father is a little more complicated, especially if you have your certain relationships. But you just agree to disagree for the faith of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. But this particular commandment has a few particular orders that should be kept. Let's see, hold on. Yeah, I'm just gonna jump into Matthew because he says it best. The letter says it best. 19:15 through 19. This is Matthew, the book of Saint Matthew, chapter 19:15 through 19. And he laid his hands on them and departed thence. And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? And he said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is God. Or that is Yahweh Ba'Shem, or Yahweh. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. He said unto him which, Jesus said, Thou shalt do no murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. Honor thy mother and father, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. This is 1 Samuel 21 and verse 2. And David said to, excuse my pronunciation, Ahimelech the priest, the king hath commanded me a business, and hath said unto me, let no man know anything of the business whereabout I send thee, and what I have commanded thee, and have appointed my servants as such and such a place. Verse 3, now therefore, what is under thine hand, give me 5 loaves of bread in my hand, or what there is present. And the priest answered unto David and said, there is no common bread under mine hand, but there is hallowed bread. And if the young men have kept themselves at least from women. Now, I brought this verse out, one to quote Mark 2 verses 23 to 28, what I'm about to go into, but also how the showbread back then was ceremonially for the priest. And it also proves that you have to abstain from women if you were going to go to temple on the Sabbath. It said in verse 4, if the young men have kept themselves at least from women. And this is going to go into my next point, Mark, and these are the words of Yahushua. Mark 2 verses 23 and 28. And it came to pass that he went through the cornfields on the Sabbath day, and his disciples began as they went to pluck ears of corn. And the Pharisees said unto him, behold, why do they on the Sabbath day that which is not lawful? Why do they do on the Sabbath day that which is not lawful? And he said unto them, have you ever read what David did when he had need and was an hungered, he and they that were with him, how he went into the house of God in the days of Abiathar the high priest, and did eat the showbread, which is not lawful to eat. How he went into the house of God in the days of Abiathar, which is not lawful to eat, but for the priests, and also gave to them which were with him. And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. And therefore the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath. And we can trust these words are true because Yahushua comes in the volume of the book.
Leviticus 15, and Yahweh spake unto Moses and said to Aaron, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when any man hath a running issue out of his flesh, because of his issue he is unclean. Let's get the blue letter.
Good point,
of what an issue is. Let's pull up this running issue. So what does that sound like? Something moving, running water?
Leviticus
Look at
15,
this.
too.
So to flow, gush, issue, discharge, to flow, gush, to die, pine away, to flow. So what is an ejaculation? Or what is a woman's menstrual cycle? These are natural, normal functionalities of the human body, but there's also a ceremonial time you have to put your body in a position to observe something ceremonially, right? Which would be the Sabbath, meaning you can't ejaculate with your wife and then go right into the temple afterwards. There's a system and there's an order. So on the Sabbath day, you are to refrain from touching your wife. Now, the situation of uncleanness in this case is not transgression. It's just you're ceremonially withheld from observing a certain function of a holy day or a Sabbath. So when you know the Sabbath is coming, you withhold yourself from intimacy with the wife, so neither one of you have to be unclean for the evening, and you won't miss the Sabbath.
Which I'm just about to go into. I appreciate that. The water, bro. No. The water. Let's see. I was going into the importance of the Sabbath and why it is to keep it, but okay. I'm going to actually go into Sirach real quick. This is also known as Ecclesiasticus 43 and 9. This is Ecclesiastes 43 and 9, also known as Sirach. The beauty of heaven and the glory of the stars and ornament giving light to the highest places of the Lord. At the commandment of the Holy One, they will stand in their order and never faint in their watches. Whoops, I started too early. I'm gonna actually start at verse 6. Yeah. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is a sign of feast. The new moon is a feast. A light that decreaseth in her perfection. The month is called after her name. The month is named after the moon. Increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven.
And that right there is a poetic explanation of the waxing and the waning. Right there. Waxing is getting bigger and waning is getting smaller, right?
Right.
Which goes from crescent
boom.
to full, from full, smaller back to crescent. That's what that line is explaining in poetic form. Which
is also disproving the false full moon is the new moon doctrine. Right. I'm gonna touch on that as well.
And that the Sabbath is always Friday and Saturday.
Yes, and that the Sabbath is always Friday and Saturday. It actually alternates throughout the year.
That's good.
So yeah. So let's see. Hold on, I'm finna pause real quick. Okay, just gonna hop back in there. This is Jeremiah 31, verses 35 through 37. Actually, I'm gonna start at 34 because we're supposed to be under the new covenant, but we're not quite there yet. And this is why. This is verse 34. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them to the greatest of them, saying, The Lord, thus saith the Lord, for I will forgive their iniquity and I will remember their sin no more. So we're supposed to keep the Sabbath. If ox are learning to keep the Sabbath and somebody's teaching them to keep the Sabbath, we are not under the second covenant, man. This is verse 35. Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day and the ordinances of the moon and the stars by night. Ordinances means rules, right up?
So I'm going to pull that up in the etymon to give you the exact.
Okay. The water. Ordinance of the moon and the stars for a light by night, which divided the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. Yahweh of hosts is his name. And if those ordinances depart from before me, saith the Lord, and the seed of Israel, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. Thus saith the Lord, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord. Which my point for bringing that verse out is that hasn't happened and is not going to happen. The ordinances of the sun and moon are going to remain forever. So we will be keeping the law forever, even until kingdom come. Did you have that?
Yeah, so the definition of ordinance.
Ordinances of the moon. Okay.
An authoritative direction, decree, or command. So it's a command with authority. So it's like a more intense law. If you go down further, you can see put in order from ordo. So the word order is in the word ordinance. So this is order. And you don't want to be out of order. And so Yahweh by Shem Yahushai has declared order. How? By putting seasons and times, which is measurements, seconds, minutes, hours. You got days, weeks, and months, and all of it is dictated by the moon. Because the new moon is the first day, which is a Sabbath, and then you count the days, and inside of days you have what? You have hours, minutes, and seconds. So that's order.
And that brings me back to Mark 2, verse 27 through 28. I believe the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So the Lord put the ordinances of the moon for us to keep,
right?
His chosen children, His chosen people. I'm gonna go into what to do and not to do on the Sabbath, and give you some words of encouragement, and then I'm gonna be done with the lesson. So we're not supposed to obviously work on the Sabbath. There was a story in the Sabbath about a man who was picking up sticks on the Sabbath, and he was stoned to death for not keeping the law. But we are actually under grace at the moment. Let's see.
Right.
We're not supposed to cook. Let's see. We're not supposed to cook in Exodus 16 through all the way to 23. And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that which ye will seethe. Seethe means to boil. Like seething mad, you're boiling mad. Seethe means to boil. Seethe that which ye will seethe, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning, for you to eat tomorrow. So we're not supposed to work, cook. We're supposed to congregate if at all possible. If not, you're supposed to dwell in your house or nearby on your land. No traveling. You're supposed to be ceremonially clean. That means no sex on the Sabbath. You don't play with your girl. If you don't have a girl, you don't play with yourself. And if you need to do that, we're men here. We're usually probably grown if you're in this audience. Then you should handle that the day after or the day before. And if you're gonna do that the day before, you need to cleanse yourself with water, and you need to put those clothes and sheets in a hamper. Get them off of you. You're supposed to be ceremonially clean. No flames, which goes into no cooking, and don't do your own pleasure. You're supposed to be seeking the Lord more or less throughout the entire day, or just getting some rest, man. Just getting some sleep if at all possible. And this is going into my point. Slacking. So we're just rehearsing the righteous acts. I'm gonna actually get Romans 9 real quick, which is part of my point. This is Romans 9. Let's see. Slacking. Well, yeah, I guess I'm gonna start at 2. Okay. No, I'm gonna start at 1. I'm gonna start from the top. I say the truth in Christ, I lie not. My conscience beareth witness with me, witness in the Holy Ghost, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, who pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of God and the promises. And my point was verse 4, with the service of God. We get the promises, we were given the law, we were given the covenants, but we also have the service of God, which is
priests and kings operating as a priest, doing the ministry in the temple. That's revealed in the prophecies and in the law, and we're the only nation that knows how to do it correctly because it was given to us. And other nations are not even allowed inside the temple, which means there'll never be a priest. So that goes into salvation too. Also, I want a side note on the grace that we are in, because I'm learning this myself. 2 things about the law: the way and the wisdom of the Most High. The new covenant goes into the blood of Yahweh purchasing us back to Yahweh and himself, but also paying for the new covenant. And what is the new covenant? It is the glorified bodies. It's the new body, and inside the new body is the law written into the inward parts of our minds and our DNA, so that we never go off. And then as a result of Yahweh coming and judging Yahweh Shaphat and destroying the current rulership, we are then put in a position of rulership. You have to be in rulership, and you have to have the law written into your genetic code in order to fulfill it. So those of you out there scoffing, well, we're under grace, there is no law. Look, the balance is do what you can. Learn to love the law. And do what you can. And what you cannot do, that's where you lean on Yahweh Shai, because he is our high priest. His blood speaks better things for us. And we are in grace until we get those new bodies, and he is placed in rulership on the throne of David. Understand it that way. You're gonna go off, but that the awesomeness in all this is we realize, wow, we need the law, but we need the law in our DNA, and it's not in our DNA yet. And that's the hope of glory. That's the hope of being transformed. You guys have seen the caterpillar turn into a butterfly.
The metamorphosis.
That's Jacob.
Yes.
That's us. That's the sons of God. That's through the blood of Yahweh Shai, faith in Yahweh, this mighty work that he's been doing. Aren't we called, oh thou worm, Jacob? Well, when we get those glorified bodies, we're not going to be a worm anymore. We're going to be a butterfly. Sons of God on the earth. So enjoy the process. This is not an excuse to sin, but it's also not a commandment to freak out. Oh, the law. No, there's balance in this. But do what you can, and the Sabbath is declared by the new moon. It's not Friday and Saturday every month. It's Friday and Saturday in this month, because that's where the new moon fell. But next month it's probably going to be Saturday night to Sunday or Sunday night to Monday. I don't know yet, but it's going to move because the moon moves. So,
and I'm going to hop off that point. This is Leviticus 23 and verse 32. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even, from even to even shall you celebrate your Sabbath. This is going into the Day of Atonement, which is also a feast day. But my point was, it's going from even to even, from sundown, whichever the new moon lands on that month, until sundown the next day. That is your Sabbath, man. That's what we should be attempting to keep. The ordinance. Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna hop off that point that you just said, the grace, and go ahead and end it. So, like, this is just an example, man. So we're supposed to be partaking in and enforcing the Sabbath, man, and we're gonna be judged, good or bad, for our works. But so I'm just saying, we need to probably try keep this to the best of our ability. So, just for example, like you're coming home from work, the Sabbath drops that night, and it's sundown, but you don't have no gas in your car, so you need to make a purchase so you can get home safely. Things like that you probably wouldn't be judged on, because we're under grace.
Right.
Like you might have to heat up your baby bottle to make warm milk for your child, man. Just like Mark the 2nd chapter. It's lawful to do good on the Sabbath, man.
Right.
It's lawful to do good on the Sabbath. What's another example? Like okay, the Sabbath falls on sundown, but you hadn't gotten paid yet, so you could handle business that you need to handle that day. It might land on a Thursday, and your bills are due on that Thursday. And you couldn't help it at all. You've been following it to the best of your ability. It might behoove you to go ahead and handle that kind of business. You know, if your livestock is at stake. That reminds me of the story in First Maccabees of the mother and the 7 children who refused to eat pork in front of the king just in order to keep the law, and they were praised for that. And in First Maccabees chapter 2, there was a list of the forefathers and how they used faith to keep the commandments. It all comes from faith. Ooh, did I press? Okay, I'm good. Okay. But you don't want to destroy yourself, and I'm finna get that as well. This is Ecclesiastes 7 and 16, right? Yeah. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? Be not much over wicked, neither thou be foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time? Don't just not keep the commandments like certain these other churches are teaching.
Balance.
Yeah, it's a balance, man. Yeah, that's right. Wisdom strengtheneth the wise man more than 10 mighty men which are in the city. Oh, no, I think that was the point. For there is not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not. You know?
Again, no one's going to be able to fulfill the commandments, the law, until they get the glorified bodies, which is purchased by the blood of Yahushai.
Okay.
So you're going to have to lean on Yahushai and celebrate Yahushai and his blood. That's what the Passover and the atonements are,
Okay.
right? Which are in the law. But we don't get to the place of rulership and sinlessness until Yahushua comes back, destroys Esau, and removes Esau from power in the earth, and then gives the elect those glorified bodies, or what is known as the everlasting tabernacles in 2nd Ezra chapter 1, I believe. So
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and end it with this, with Ecclesiastes 7 verse 16. Let's see. Ecclesiastes. Salakia, hold on. Salakia. Bear with me. Dang it. 7:16 in the NIV. Let's see. Hold on. This is a full chapter. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 16. This is a full chapter. Let's see. Do not be over righteous, neither be over wise. Why destroy yourself? Do not be over wicked, and do not be a fool. Why die before your time? It is good to grasp the one and not let go of the other. Whoever fears God will avoid all extremes. That goes back to my first point. The whole point of the matter is to fear the Most High and keep the commandments, man, to the best of your ability, man. I think that's it. You got anything to add? Excellent, man. With that, we headed to camp. It's actually the Sabbath right now. For example, my aunt wanted to give me a bag of seeds, but I didn't want to. I didn't want him to make a purchase on the Sabbath. That's something that we can avoid. You know what I mean? That's not like I'm bleeding, so he needs to get some gauze and some stitches from the store. You know what I mean? So it's lawful to do good on the Sabbath, man, according to Yahushua. So we can stand on that. I think that's it, man. I'm gonna shalom it out, man. Shalom. No, first, all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Rakakadash. That's right. Double honors to the elders and apostles whom we learn from. I appreciate y'all's tutelage. Shalom to all the brothers and sisters out there that's sincerely trying to learn how to keep the law of the Most High God, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, in faith, man. Shalom to you, man, and I love you. Okay, shalom.
Shalom.